and welcome to the first Fully Alive webinar.
Yes.
Welcome.
It is nice for me to be back in your hut.
Thank you very much.
I haven't been there for a while. So
No,
nice
so
to be back in your hut working together again.
welcome back to the hut. And this is Being Fully Alive, how to regain your health and energy in just 15 minutes a day practice as well. So we're going to go through a number of things tonight as well. We will get to a practice for you as well. But just to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing in this evening, we're going to be talking about how we use the skills in using energy to overcome a lot of the pressures in everyday life. So where people end up feeling anxious or low moods or energy depletion, feeling overwhelmed, aches and pains, even chronic illness, and how when you've got the skills in using energy, how you can free yourself from those things as well. So a little bit in a while we're going to introduce ourselves on what we do, how we go about this, and then give you a practice that you can do. And so yeah, we're talking about the four sort of main principles really in skills in using energy.
Yeah, so the four main principles, and just to backtrack a little bit, we're here because we're passionate about skills in using energy. We've been using this stuff for over 20 years now. And we realise a lot of people don't understand about the skills of using energy, so this talk is about helping you to understand it. And if you want to practice, or if you're already practicing, really helping you to get the most out of your practice so that you can regain your health and your energy, your vitality. And most good teachers, in my opinion, have made loads of mistakes. Because when you make loads of mistakes yourself in a practice, you really learn what works and what doesn't. And so we've both made loads of mistakes, certainly from the time that we first practiced. And so there are four things that with people's practice of Qigong, or as we call it, skills in using energy, there are four things that are often missed. And the first principle, I won't go into it too much now because we'll talk about it as we go along, but a lot of people, because there's a physical component to it, you do some physical things, and people are very used to physical or mental practices. They miss the fact that Qigong is an energy practice. There's a physical component and there's a mental component, but it's really important to remember and understand that when you're practicing skills in using energy, it's an energy practice, and if you're not practicing as an energy practice, you're not practicing Qigong. So to be able to generate an energy flow, to be able to use that to clear things, or to use that to build energy, or use that to refine energy, that's what makes it Qigong. It's not just a physical practice. So that's the first key principle that a lot of people miss.
True.
Yeah, they say they're doing Qigong, and at one level they're doing Qigong form, but it's sometimes difficult for them to step over the threshold into, no, I'm doing stuff with energy here. So that's the first one. The second one is, it's about the way that you do it. It's about the way that you do it rather than what you do. And again, we're going to talk about that. And that's obvious. I mean, my daughter's completing her acting training now, and she could go on, just to the stage, and she could memorize the script entirely and know all the cues, and she could go through the process, and technically she had accomplished what the playwright had asked her to. But obviously she'd be missing the essence of it. It's not what she does, it's the way that she does it. Yeah? And that's the same in Qigong. You can do the practice, you can do the forms, but that's not the essence of it. And that's sometimes why people miss really getting the benefits when they're either practicing from a book or practicing even from videos. But again, we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along. And that's the second principle. The third principle is it's not about quantity. It's the same in yoga. People think that they need learn loads of postures. Yeah, in qigong or tai chi chuan, people often think that they need to learn lots of different forms, lots of different approaches in order to get the benefits out of qigong. But that's not true. It's the same in meditation as well. It's the quality of your practice, not the quantity. And one of the things that really made a difference to me was realizing when I learned from our teacher, Sifu Bongkyu Kit, was that you can achieve all of the benefits of qigong in just a regular, we say 15 minutes, but frankly when you get skilled, 5 or 10. So that's the third fundamental principle, it's the quality, not the quantity. It won't help doing 2 hours of qigong. In fact, that might even be detrimental. And then the fourth principle, which is really important with things like qigong and yoga and meditation, it's not just about the practice. You do the practice and you can get lots of benefits, but actually it's the skills that you develop in that practice being used in your everyday life. That's really where the skills come to life. Yeah. So those those things are often not talked about enough.
No.
Yeah. So that's why we think it's important to talk about those things. Yeah. So we're going to be taking you through later some practice, and we'll highlight those principles as we go along.
I think that's the most important thing though that we've spoken about over the years is that it is about developing the skills in using energy, because the techniques themselves can't really be used in an everyday scenario. I mean, you've got the posture part of good posture, which we'll come to in a bit, and you've got the breathing techniques and you've got the physical relaxation, but beyond that, if you've only got movement, those kind of things aren't very helpful when you're going into a coffee shop and asking for a cup of coffee and start moving around. That's right. No. So when people are talking about overwhelm or energy depletion, or the problems that people now face in terms of anxiety and stress, the sort of things that we've had to deal with ourselves over the years as well. What I think I would have benefited most from when I first started out with this stuff was the skills in what I was doing. And as you know, we've spoken about it quite a lot in the past, is that I started off in martial arts and more in the fighting system. So that was great in terms of physical fitness, helped me build some confidence that I didn't have from a child, helped me with a lot of things like that, but really didn't help me in terms of the mental side, the emotional side, to deal with stress, deal with anxiety, deal with worry, all the things that were actually getting me into a situation where I ended up feeling depressed, had low energy, feeling really stressed out and not being able to cope with stuff. And that's when I came into therapy, 20 years ago, when I came into doing the energy therapy, zero balancing. And that was great for when I was receiving the treatments. That worked. That was really good. Came out of the treatments feeling really good. And then when I learned to do it on other people, I had the skill in using energy in helping other people. But what I didn't have was the skill of using energy in helping myself. And I couldn't karate myself to make myself feel better. That didn't work. So when I came across Sifu Wong, and I initially came into that for the martial arts, but as it turned out, learned that it was about the skills in using energy, how you could generate energy to clear stuff, how you could then manage that energy to manage the mental stuff, the emotions and the physical stuff. All of that was what ended up really helping me clear and deal with a lot of the problems that I sort of picked up in terms of like conditioning and ideas and beliefs from a childhood. And then it became really obvious that it's not in what you do, as you said, it's in how you do it. And then once you've got the energy flow and you can start managing that energy flow and you can start putting it into the things you do, it's then not just your time in the practice that you're doing, it's then taken out of your room that you practice in, or the mat that you're doing your practice in, or your meditation, and it's taken it out into everyday life, and that made a massive difference to me. So,
right. So should we? We're
going to
introduce you to some stuff. We're going to keep coming back to those 4 principles, but Tim is going to kind of take you through a demonstration of, if you like, the most fundamental practice.
Yeah, that's right. So we're. I'll talk to you as we're doing this as well, because when we teach the courses and the classes that we do, the most important thing that we start off with, that we always start off with, is something called standing upright and relaxing, because a lot of people don't seem to have really a handle on what standing upright and relaxing is. So they come into the room and we stand as you normally would stand, we say, and there's all kinds of ways that people stand up. But we can break it down into 3 main ways, just to keep things really simple. The first way that people stand up, imagining that they're stressed, anxious, depressed, down, low energy, overwhelmed. There's a particular way that they hold themselves. I'm going to get Barry to hold themselves in the overwhelmed state, and this is what we call a collapsed state. So if you've got low energy and you're depressed and you're starting to really be a bit like this, then there's the hyper anxious state. The person that's really geared up, ready to take on the world, ready to do everything, really tight, muscles are really tight, and they're really ready for everything. Now this is really hard work. I think if I asked Barry just to stand like this for the next 3 or 5 minutes,
I wouldn't do it.
he'd probably pass out anyway, because there's so much stress in his systems. The mind's not relaxed, the muscles are tight, everything's tight, he can't breathe well. He's already in this fight or flight mode that so many people are when they're in stress mode. This state that we're ideally aiming at, the first thing that you learn in the art and the skills of using energy, is standing uprighting and relaxing. Uprighting means that the top of the head in line with the centre of the body, and if we have a look from the side here, sometimes people's idea of uprighting is actually like this. So you might notice yourself, if you want to stand up in the room that you're in, just make sure that you're not next to a balcony or a swimming pool, definitely not at the top of the stairs or next to a glass table. And stand upright. So if you find yourself leaning back like this and you feel it's tight at the base of your back, adjust your body so then you come into an upright position. Some people go the other way. Now they lean forward slightly like this. This is an exaggeration of a forward posture, but they might be on their toes or they might be too much on their heels. Put your weight on the whole of your feet and then adjust yourself through your legs and then through your spine until the top of your head is then in line, you see, with the centre of the body, in line with the legs, and bring your arms, as Barry has here, to the sides of the body. Now this is standing, uprighting and relaxing. Mouth is gently open. Gently breathing in through your nose and then gently breathing out through your mouth. Now we use this posture in terms of entering a qigong state of mind. You see Barry's wobbling around here, that's actually his energy flowing. When you get into a relaxed state of being, you're encouraging energy to flow. We want energy to flow instead of holding yourself stiff, because when energy flows, that's the thing that clears
makes
stuff.
it qigong.
That's what makes it qigong. That's right.
And I think, just a point there. A lot of people think, when they read some stuff about this physical aspect of standing upright and relaxing, that even if they're upright and relaxed, they can have a tendency to kind of hold themselves. Yeah. So, but it's not physical. We're doing this because it allows energy to flow. Once energy starts to flow, you just notice.
That's right, and that's the most important principle, isn't it? That we're doing an energy practice, not a physical practice. So the moment you just try and turn this into a physical thing, you can impede or block your energy flow. And you want to encourage good flow of energy. Good flow of energy to clear stuff, and energy so that you can build the energy so that you can have increased vitality as well. So that's a really important part of the Qigong. When we look at the practice that we're doing, the very first thing that we're going to be doing as part of entering a Qigong state of mind is standing upright and relaxing. So you might close your eyes. If you want to watch what we're doing, keep your eyes open, but in your own practice, you could gently close your eyes. Important to have the mouth open. Allow the breath to be soft and gentle, and not chest breathing, but just gently breathing down in the belly breathing. This helps calm systems, calm the mind. If I had just had this, I think 20 years ago, before I learnt what we learnt, this would have helped tremendously. So even if people went away tonight and just did this and practiced this as an everyday thing, it's going to
just enjoy
help
it
tremendously.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Just enjoy.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important part of the practice. That's the first part, the fundamental part of the 4 principles of the practice of energy arts. Really.
And this takes into account those 3 principles. It's not physical. Okay, it's a physical standing up, but it's actually standing in a way that allows your energy to flow. You don't, and it's the way that you do it, playfully. Yeah, not I must be standing upright.
And definitely not seriously.
No, just playfully. And you know, I know from my own experience, this is not very much, is it? In terms of quantity, yeah. But you do that. Just let go, even for 2 minutes a day. I can say from personal experience that can change your life.
And this might actually sound like, well, if that's all you've got and that's all there is to Qigong, then maybe I don't want to do it. I want to do something more exciting. I want the patterns, I want the forms, I want the sets. That's where a lot of people make the mistake.
Yeah.
That they go straight into that and they don't do this.
Yeah.
This is the probably the most important part. It's actually the start and the end of your practice. You start with entering a Qigong state of mind and you end with stillness.
Yeah.
There are a number of things in between that we do as well in terms of the practice, like smiling from the heart, doing a pattern to generate an energy flow, becoming more skillful at managing that energy flow, and then applying that energy flow as well. But that's the bit to...
If you can do this, if you did this for 3 weeks every day, if you went outside in your garden in the morning and did this 2 or 3 minutes, change. Well, for me, it changed everything.
Oh, definitely, it always changes on that. So thanks for that as well.
So, why is this important? Why are skills in using energy important? Well, in some of the stuff that we put out about the webinar, you know, we talked about just the pressures now of everyday life. People feel anxious, low moods, you know, they feel just generally, oh my God, I haven't got enough energy. You know, that can really lead into a feeling of overwhelm. And if you've got aches and pains going on as well, it can really just lower your mood. That a lot of people, even if they won't always admit it, get to the point of, oh really, it's another day, I've got to get through another day. Tough to admit that sometimes. We're not supposed to, you know, say things like that. But really for a lot of people it does get like that. To the extent now, and we were talking about this earlier, that the World Health Organization now have even recognised that syndrome as being a really important syndrome, burnout. Although we've known about that for years, the medical profession have kind of been on the fence a little bit about burnout and stress, and they acknowledge it, but they don't really treat it as a condition. Well, the World Health Organization now is saying, no, this is a syndrome. It's now part of the ICD, the International Classification of Diseases. And so, you know, all of the health companies and the insurance companies that now use that ICD, which is, you know, a lot of countries in the world, now recognise that. Yeah. So clearly they recognise it because there's so much of it around. And it can be quite difficult to treat all of the causes of that, yeah, because the overwhelm and the stress is often coming from both internally, you know, from the mind and problems with organs and that kind of stuff, but also externally, you know, the quality of food people are eating, the amount of pressure that they're under, all of that kind of stuff. And often, I mean, I know I'm a psychotherapist, you know, this kind of stuff often gets labelled as depression, yeah. People get labelled, and there's not, you know, antidepressants can be really helpful, but often, you know, the treatments are kind of picking off, or have been picking off little bits here and there. The really useful thing that we have found in teaching people skills in using energy is that when you get it, and it's not that difficult to get, but when you get it and you practice it, your ability to deal with that stuff, you know, increases exponentially. And then everything starts to change. So the definition of this, yeah, in terms of the World Health Organization, is that the pressure or the challenges that you're under exceed your ability to cope. And obviously Qigong doesn't change the world, that would be magical thinking, but what it does is it radically increases your ability to cope, and that's at both conscious and unconscious levels, so your organs get better at coping with things.
You know, I think it's you know, it's our world that it's changing now, isn't it? When you're in stress, when you're feeling anxious, when you don't want to get up and do the stuff that you do, or you get up and do it anyway, but you come home exhausted, you go to bed hoping that tomorrow you're going to wake up feeling better, only you're still feeling the same, and you have to keep on sort of trudging through the stuff that you do. And then that is your world, isn't it? And then we can start, all that becomes very sort of insular, closing down, and it just feels very difficult as well. And I know what that was like, and I remember what that was like as well. You know, before, you know, starting to use energy flow and the skills in using energy and the different things that do too, actually have a shift, you know, in terms of perspective of the way that things were, looking at things differently, but also getting a bit of a handle on stuff as well, because I was very reactionary. Found, you know, the triggers would go off like that with stuff, and that would ping onto other people, and that pings onto other people,
and then it comes back to
doesn't it? Always, that's it. So and when we look at Qigong in terms of physical, mental, emotional relaxation, that's one part of it, but also starting to clear those things that are getting in the way, and we don't always know what they are.
No.
And that, I think that was one of the beautiful things that I got out of the Qigong. I didn't want to probably face all the stuff. I didn't want to go to a psychotherapist or a psychologist to talk about it. I don't want to admit, as you said, I don't want to admit about those things as well. So when I started practicing Qigong, those things started to change and clear. And then I started to feel better. And then when I started teaching it, you recognise that a lot of the people that you're teaching in class and courses are also suffering. They're individuals, but they're also suffering from the same things: overwhelm, worry, anxiety, all those things that are getting in the way of being able to enjoy life. I think the best thing though is when you teach somebody for the first time, and then they go, and they look on their face like, oh man, this is just like. This is just like magic, but it's not magic.
No, and that's the thing, isn't it? That, you know, one of the reasons we don't call it Qigong sometimes is because, you know, there can be I mean, there isn't really, but there can seem like there's a lot of mystique and magic around it. But it's not magic at all. It's really simple. It's your body and your mind having, you know, we call it energy flow, but you could talk about just the body and the mind's ability to heal itself, you know, cope with stress. We all know if you cut your finger, you don't have to do anything, really. I mean, the body will develop a scar and it will heal itself.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. We don't think that's magic. I mean, you could think that, oh, look at that, that's magic. But it isn't, it's just natural. And it's the same for all aspects of stress or ill health. And I think we've both talked about it before, you and I both talked about it. When you're doing it yourself as a practitioner, you can sometimes think, am I fooling myself here? Even though things are getting better. As a teacher, when you start to teach, I mean, we've taught hundreds of people now, and you start to see people with really chronic illnesses, that lady with fibromyalgia, and all of a sudden, it's like, hang on a second, so, within that lady within a weekend, but certainly within a few weeks, chronic illnesses, let's forget the word cure, but the symptoms, of those chronic illnesses people aren't experiencing anymore, and
that's life changing, though, isn't it? I mean, you talk about things in terms of being natural, when we cut ourselves and things heal. But the thing is that in terms of stress and anxiety and worry, that hasn't become natural to us to be able to deal with or overcome those things, because we're not taught necessarily. I mean, some people are, but generally speaking, we're not taught from an early age how to become more resilient, how to deal with stress, how to let go of the stuff that then becomes the problem. And then things start building up, and that's when the systems go wrong. When you get into the practice of Qigong, not just for us, but the people that have been practicing with us over the years as well, it does start to become a natural thing. The students talk about when they're at work, and I normally get anxious around talking to the boss or making a phone call. I do a bit of breathing exercise or smile from the heart.
And then they can do it.
And that's natural. That becomes natural. But I think because it has been made a bit woo-woo over the years, when people talk about energy, that's when people go, oh, no, energy's not real. Don't talk to me about energy. It's starting to get all a bit weird. And then they go back to the form, which is only that small part of the Qigong. And that's a pity. And what we were talking about earlier is we really want to get this stuff out there so more people can get real practical benefit from it. Because if you don't learn how to manage your energy, be able to generate energy flow to clear stuff, manage your energy flow better, which actually helps you manage your emotions and the thoughts and your body and your reactions and the other stuff that either creates a useful outcome or an unuseful outcome, then it's going to get difficult. And then all you've really got to rely on is then the form of Qigong, which gives some benefit, but it's not the benefit that you get from what the old masters were teaching, which was the skill in using energy. So
absolutely.
I think it is a natural thing in the end of the day, once you've learned how to do it naturally as well.
So we said, didn't we? We said at the beginning, we were talking before, we said that we hate those kind of webinars, where you go on and then people talk about puff, and then they talk about themselves and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, and they don't get to the bit into the last minute. So we hope that we've been through those 4 principles, and we've given you a bit of demonstration. But we did say, didn't we, that we would talk a little bit about our own experience of Qigong and what we got out of that. So
I've done that as well, haven't I? In terms of the difficulties that I was having. So I'll make it brief for you as well. But when I was in my early 20s, I started in a sales job, and it was all right for a while, but very quickly I ended up being overwhelmed by all the stress, and that's when I think it started to go downhill. And apart from receiving therapy, I didn't have any coping mechanisms because there wasn't anything. And 20 odd years ago, certainly from how it was for me, there wasn't the outlet to really talk about it as well. Or certainly I chose not to talk about it. So ended up burying all that stuff, and it goes deeper. So I didn't have the skill in terms of being able to manage my own emotions, thoughts, blockages, stress, anxiety, and the worry, all of that stuff that spoke about, or in terms of what this webinar was about. That's the kind of stuff that I was finding really difficult back then. And that's not like that now. I mean, it's changed, you know, in terms of health and happiness from the from the skills and use of energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But if I hadn't mentioned, the people that know me know this, but for the new people here as well, I've been working as a body-mind energy therapist the last 20 years. So I've got really good at helping other people with that as well. Yeah, the Qigong was a way to help myself.
Absolutely.
And that also actually ended up helping me help other people better as well.
Yeah, and that's been my experience as well. And again, we were talking about it earlier, we were both lucky enough to stumble in independently, separately. We didn't know one another back then, did we? But I remember, I mean, I won't go through the whole story, but just standing somewhere, and for whatever reason being in quite a relaxed state, and this was something I was doing every morning, and all of a sudden started to notice all this weird stuff going on. I could feel these strange feelings in my body and my mind. And I remember I just used to stand there giggling. I mean, you know, it's possible, you know, I would have been locked up if the wrong sort of person would have been watching. But I remember it just had a profound effect on me. I was just feeling really good. And then I came back to the UK from where I'd been, and I was talking to a few friends, and somebody said, oh, that sounds like, you know, what they talk about in the old classics of Qigong, you know, Qi flow. So I got interested in it then, started to read from books. And some of the books I read, you know, were by really good masters, who, you know, genuine masters. But I really learnt then, I could do the really simple stuff. Actually, I kind of stumbled into it myself, yeah. But once it started to get beyond that, it was very difficult to learn from a book.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I love the way our you know, teacher talks about, it's like trying to explain to somebody how to swim. Do you know what I mean? It's a very, you can do that. You lay on the water and you do that, but it's not really capturing the essence of it. And so it wasn't until I met Grandmaster Wong Kyu Kit that it was like, oh, right. Now, he put it into a big framework. This is an energy skill, yeah? Okay, and the fundamental energy skill is being able to generate an energy flow, and that's fantastic, really useful, it can be helpful. But then you've got to learn what to do with that, how to use it. It's like, you know, we talk about being able to turn the tap on the hose, and that's useful. The water comes out the hose, but then you want to use it for something. You know, you're going to attach it to a high pressure washer and wash down the patio, or you're going to water some plants, yeah, or you're going to fill up a reservoir in order to create some hydroelectricity. So, and it was at that point that my Qigong practice really started to take off, and I really realised, oh yeah, this is hard to learn from books. Not that people can't write it down, they can, and we write stuff down for people.
It's not the same.
But it's just not the same. No.
I'm going to move my chair back a tiny bit just because the sun, I mean, we got a gorgeous day here, and the sun sets just over the back of the fields from where my treatment room is. But right then when I was talking to Barry, it was just shining straight into my eye, and I thought, wow, he's got this like really brightness behind him, and that was actually the sun.
It generally is.
I think we were going to show like a practice as well that you can do at home, because we realised that some of the people that have come to the webinar already are students that practice with us regularly, and we said that we would remind you of the important fundamentals, because whenever we teach classes or courses, whether or not it's week 1, year 1 or year 10, we always come back to the fundamental practices of Qigong, or the skills in using energy, because they're the most important parts, and they're the parts that we can get better and better and better at. And once you start layering up in terms of breathing techniques, mind techniques, energy techniques, different ways to get energy flowing through the different systems or meridians, and all the myriad of things that comes with it. It's easy, I think, sometimes for people to forget the things that they learnt right at the beginning, and then they end up spending more time on that but not the beginning stuff. And our teacher always said, look, I'm going to teach you the very best stuff right at the beginning. And people are like, of course, sure. Yeah. And he's like, no, really, the better that you get in entering a Qigong state of mind or entering Wu Ji, the better that you get, or the more skillful that you get at smiling from the heart.
The better the absence of unnecessary tension.
Yeah, the better of absence of unnecessary, better in generating energy flow, the better in coming to stillness, and the better in just being, the more benefit that you get. So for the guys that have done this for some time, this is also for you. For the people that are coming to this for the first time and want to know what it's like to feel Qigong if you were learning it from two experienced teachers, what would that actually feel like? Then we're going to show you what that feels like so you can get the benefit. And if you never come to a course or a class, it doesn't matter, but if you just did these things, you would get the benefit. Okay, so
and we'll talk about, as we go through, we'll talk about those 4 principles. Just remind you about those 4 principles as we go through.
That's right. So you're going to teach the you want to teach the pattern that we were talking about?
Yeah, shall I do? I'll do the pattern first.
Yeah, do the pattern. Do the pattern first.
All right. Okay.
And maybe actually just do the pattern so that you can see the difference between just physical and then shown it as an energy exercise.
Okay. So there is a physical component to this. It's a very simple practice. It's called Beautiful Butterfly Dance in Front of Flowers. And at one level, it's a trivially simple exercise. You just bend forward, lift up, arms are fairly straight, you bend back, arms out to the side, and as you stand up, your arms come down. So I'll do it just as a physical exercise, Yeah. So, I guess if you did that as a physical exercise, there'd be some benefit to that. If you did, I guess it'd be 200, you might even get some fitness benefits. You'd get a bit of flexibility in your spine. But remember, this is Qigong, it's not just a physical exercise. It's Qigong, which means skill in using energy. And the point of this pattern, you would never do this on its own. You do this as part of a Qigong practice. But the point of this pattern is just to be able to speed up the flow of energy. So you speed up the flow of energy. I do it a little more as a kind of energy practice. You speed up the flow of energy. So that when you let go, there is an energy flow there that you can just let go, and that energy flow, in the way that we're going to teach it to you today, is very clearing, it's very cleansing. If you do that on a regular basis, then that is going to clear little aches and pains fairly quickly. And as I said, we don't talk about cure because that's a dangerous thing to get involved in any way. The Chinese don't look at it as a cure, but that's going to clear problems with organs and other things, which mean that even some quite intractable or chronic illnesses, people stop experiencing the symptoms. This is our experience. So that's just reminding you about that first principle. It's not just physical, it's an energy practice. And the second principle is not the way that it's not what you do. So yeah, you can do that, but it is the way that you do it. It's about doing it as an energy practice. It's about doing it in a relaxed way, and it's about doing it within the context of some things that Tim is going to teach you in a moment. Doing it after you've practiced Wu Ji, as you've gone into a Qigong state of mind, as you smiled from the heart, and then it becomes a completely different kind of practice. So it's not just what you do, it's the way that you do it. The second fundamental principle of developing skills in using energy. And the quality. If you were just doing that as a physical exercise, I guess you could do, maybe 100 of those and you would get some benefit. But actually in Qigong, what you want is you want the quality. You want the quality of the skills rather than the quantity of movement or the quantity of patterns. And obviously you're not going to do that in the middle of a meeting. But once you use that pattern to develop the skill of energy flow, then actually it's quite easy just to allow energy to flow at any time, really. You can just smile from the heart in the middle of a tense meeting or in an argument with your partner, and you're not going to wobble around like that, obviously, because that tends to irritate people when you do that. But just the essence of that energy flow mean that those energy skills can be applied anywhere. So that is a pattern, yeah? In terms of Qigong, you do not need any more patterns than that. Obviously, it can be fun to learn other patterns, but that's not the point of it, yeah? Learn hundreds of patterns if you like, but you don't need to. You just need one pattern that will help increase the flow of energy.
Okay, we're going to switch.
Okay.
And that's better. So, apologies for that, and sorry it hasn't worked. If we've got any other technical issues with the sound, Barry is on my other computer,
yeah.
So we're trying to sort it out. And part of skills in using energy in action, in flow, and trying to sort it out as we go as well. And this is part of it. I mean, as life throws on, as life goes on, not everything works out exactly the way that you imagined it's going to work out. So that's all fine. But let's talk about the practice that we were doing then. So Barry was introducing you to the beautiful butterfly dances in front of flowers as a physical exercise, physical relaxation exercise. So if you were doing beautiful butterfly dances in front of flowers like this and then came down, it's a very nice, very beneficial exercise to do to release tension in the back and get things flowing as well. But I just want to talk to you about how you take it from that physical exercise into an energy exercise. So just make sure you've got some space where you're standing and adjust your feet so that they're a few inches apart. We often look at this as a fist width apart and having your feet parallel. You might not be able to see my feet from the video, but have your feet parallel, then adjust your body so that you're standing upright and relaxing, not jamming your knees back. Then when you're upright and relaxing, bring your arms to the sides of the body so the chest gently opens, have the mouth gently open, the eyes gently closed, and now gently focus on your breathing. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Now there's nothing for you to follow in terms of visuals of what I'm doing right now, so you can have your eyes closed. Having your eyes closed when you're entering a Qigong state of mind helps you relax more physically, mentally and emotionally. That's taking you into the Qigong state of mind, the ideal state of mind, the state of brain waves as well, for energy to flow better and to take us into what often is described as a healing state. So standing uprighting and relaxing, gently breathing in, breathing out. Just letting go of any unnecessary tension in the body as well. If you notice any places of tension in the body, just let them gently go. You don't have to hold on to any physical position in the body here. If you find yourself gently swaying, then enjoy that gentle sway. As each breath comes in, each breath comes out, allowing the body to gently relax. And then the next part, very important part of your Qigong training, your skills in using energy, is to smile from the heart. Now, you don't need to know how do you smile from the heart any more than you need to work out how do I smile on my face. You just smile. And the same when you smile from the heart, just smile from the heart. Enjoying being relaxed, physically, mentally and emotionally. Allowing the muscles to be relaxed and the body to be relaxed, the breath being relaxed. And now you can gently open your eyes. And in your own practice, you might spend 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes being in a Qigong state of mind. And now we do the beautiful butterfly dances in front of the flowers. So coming down, breathing in, breathing out, and then bring the arms gently down beside the body. Allow this to be a gentle, smooth movement. Down, breathe in, breathe out. Bring the arms down at the sides of the body. Continuing to allow this movement now just to be smooth. Now allow the movement to speed up a little bit. Don't worry about the breath, what the breath is doing, but just allow the movement to flow more freely now. So it doesn't really matter about your form. It doesn't matter if the form comes out of form or that you start moving around. Sometimes people think that they're losing their balance and they try to tense their muscles in order to stabilise the movement, but that's unnecessary. In fact, it would end up blocking your energy. Not worrying about what it is that you're doing or even how you look. You worry about that too much anyway. Just allow the movements to flow freely. Allow the breath to flow freely. Make it really easy on yourself so everything can flow freely. Do this a couple more times. Now, as you breathe out, close your eyes, keep your mouth open, and just let go. Which is the opposite of holding on to anything. So you don't need to try and make anything happen. You don't need to stop anything from happening either. Just let your movement flow. Let the body flow. Let movement happen. Gentle swaying happening. Let energy gently flow through the body, turning this from a physical exercise into an energy exercise. And all of this is done really from the mind level. Energy follows thought. Let energy turn this from a physical exercise into an energy exercise. And all of this. So then you just let your energy flow. If you get a double bit of feedback then, that's just the other speaker came on. So just allow the energy to gently flow. And now, gently think of an area roughly 2-3 inches below your navel, your Dantian energy field, and gently come to stillness. Gently come to stillness. Not abruptly, but gently come to stillness. And then when you come to stillness, have your eyes gently closed, mouth gently open. And just enjoy being in stillness. Just enjoy being in stillness. You don't have to do anything here. That's the beauty of this part of the practice as well. All the work is done, the movement is done. Just standing and being. Something that we rarely do when we're rushing around is just to stand and be. And there's so much to get from just standing and being. And if you feel that there's gentle movement or gentle flow, that's fine. Just standing and being. Sometimes described in the Qigong as standing Zen. Much easier than sitting Zen for a lot of people. Now gently think of that area of the Dantian again, and then bring your palms together in front of your body, rub your palms together, place them over the eyes, dab the eyes, massage around the face and the head, and then walk around the space that you are in your training.
So it's important to remember that that is not just a physical practice. Obviously, when you look at the video, when you re-look at the video that we will send you out, you can follow that form, but remember that what it is you're doing there is you're doing an energy practice. You follow those instructions, but the idea, or what's going on behind that, is that you are dropping into a state of mind and body that lets energy flow. You're using the pattern to speed up that energy flow, and then in the letting go, you just allow the energy just to flow as it needs to flow. It's a kind of, if you like, a super acupuncture, if you like. That would be the relationship between acupuncture and Qigong. Then the energy just flows as and where it is needed to flow. You don't need to worry about that. But the point is that's the point of the exercise. The rest of it is very pleasant and you can use those skills, but the real juice comes from in the letting go where energy begins to flow. Now you will have seen Tim kind of flowing around there, and some people think that's a bit weird or he's just doing that. Actually, when you do it yourself and it starts to happen for you, you realise, oh no, this is just happening. Yeah, all kinds of strange things actually can sometimes happen.
And that's a normal, natural part of the practice as well, again, which is often missed. But that forms the 15-minute daily practice that we're talking about, which is entering a Qigong state of mind, smiling from the heart, doing something that generates an energy flow, enjoying that energy flow, gently coming to stillness, enjoying stillness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's simple. Really. Yes. That forms the basis of a real Qigong exercise in terms of an energy practice.
Yes. And so it's not just physical.
No.
It's the way that you do it, not what you do, that's important. You could do a different kind of movement. Yeah. If you did it in the right kind of way, you'd still get the benefits. It only takes 10 minutes and you only need one pattern. Yeah. Because it's the quality, not the quantity, that's important. And I mean, we can tell you now that those energy skills that you develop there can be used and applied anywhere. That will happen to some extent naturally, but obviously as you get more skilled and you learn more things, you can be more specific about how you use those in your everyday life.
Yeah. We want to talk about the fundamental practices of Qigong in terms of what Barry and I have been teaching over the years. We start the learning for people in 4 foundation courses,
Yeah.
and this is what we call the foundations, or the fundamentals of the skills in using energy, which takes people through the practice and skills of learning how to generate an energy flow. We call that generate an energy flow for health and happiness, because that's the part that helps to clear illness, clear stress, anxiety, pain, and or chronic illness as well. And then the second course,
developing skills for conscious flow. That is more about, that's about refining the skill rather than just getting an energy flow. It's actually being able to refine the skills so that you can use that energy flow for various things. When you've developed the skills, rather than just clearing, you can use it for clearing or building or nourishing, refining. So the second course is very important. And then the third course,
the building energy as well, to help increase our vitality, because when we've got more energy, we have an increased vitality, and that helps us really in all the things that we're doing as well. And so then you learn how to develop more energy, but you've already prepared the systems, prepared the body to be able to handle more energy. Now, I think it's a mistake that people make, but lots of people try and jump to that too quickly, and and that's like putting a Ferrari engine in a little minute. Now, it's not going to work, because the rest of the systems of the car aren't built to handle that amount of energy. You've got to change the systems to handle more energy. And so we get you safely to that third stage. And then the fourth
stage is then using that energy flow to refine the quality of energy. We talk about refining energy for peace and happiness, and it is a profoundly peaceful state you can get into when you do that, and it can people who do meditation or other forms of spiritual practice, that can really, I don't want to say supercharge, but I mean it can really change the quality of your meditation as you start to get that. And what we say about those 4 courses, or those 4 sets of skills, if you've got those 4 sets of skills, you can go and learn any kind of qigong. You can learn small universe, metamorphosis, bone marrow cleansing, all of the very, what are considered to be esoteric practices. But if you've got those fundamental skills, it sets you up to be able to do all of those things.
Or put them into your own practice of qigong if you've learned form qigong. So you've got the benefits of the form qigong that you're already doing, and people really enjoy that, and it's good. It's like the form practice of Tai Chi, like what we call Tai Chi dance. It's really good, it's relaxing, and it takes in some nice states. And then this starts to bring the energy part in as well, so you can use those skills into the Tai Chi.
And to be honest, I do Pilates, sometimes, because it's quite pleasant. But I mean, I can do Pilates as qigong as well. Just apply those skills to the Pilates exercise, and it works.
Yeah, same with the yoga, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It does charge everything that you do.
Yeah.
And so we're teaching those courses. We're going to be teaching those courses in London in July. We're teaching in Derby in September, and we're teaching down in Dorset in October, as well. So we've got a bunch of courses. We might also do some ad hoc one days, and sometimes, like what happened last year, we got invited out to Spain to teach. We ran a course in Malaysia. So people sometimes contact us and say, there's a whole bunch of people that want to train. Would you come and teach wherever you are?
And if we can.
And if we can, we will.
We're good.
Yeah, we will as well. Now you might have some questions about the qigong practice, or the skills you use in energy, how that's going to help you, how you're going to apply that to your daily life as well. Please do put them onto the Facebook. You can email myself, tim@fullyalive.co, no UK or .com, and Barry at fullyalive.co,
or you can just do it to info@fullyalive.co, and we end up getting those as well. So if you've got any questions, please let us know. We would have taken some questions tonight if there hadn't been.
So really sorry about the technical issues as well. We'll try and get that sorted out for the next one. We'd like to do some more live webinars and lessons. We've also spoken about doing some live lessons as well. So that would be really good.
Yeah.
We should have it sorted out for you next time. So thanks for bearing with us. We look forward to hearing from you guys and
that's true, isn't it? If you end up practicing, let us know how you get on. However it is, because if if things aren't going well, get in touch with us, because generally we find it's some little tweak that we can help to adjust. Sometimes it's not always so easy if it's not face to face, but often we can do a Skype.
But that's what people have found that have been on courses or practice for a number of years, and then years later come back to a foundation course and they go, now I get it. You didn't tell us that in the first course, but we do. But they hear it in a different way as well. So thanks guys, and we'll see you again another time. Okay?
Good. Okay.
Thanks.